So like, I
Yeah.
guess from you, when you got started until now, what is a big like transformation, a big thing that has shifted from then till now?
Man, that's a great question. I think the biggest thing that shifted for me is when I found
I am taking you on a journey of revival in my life and the life of others in hope that your life will be revived in the process. Hey, what is going on, guys? So we are back with another podcast episode, and I am super excited because we have our first guest on today, one of my good friends, Sullivan, and we're going to be talking about how to elevate your life. And so this is super near and dear to my heart because I was able to jump on his podcast as his first guest, and now he's returning the favor for me. And it's just super cool because how we met, right? We started going to the same church, and I was on the worship team and he was on the worship team. I played electric guitar there. Of course, I moved recently, but he, sings and worships wholeheartedly. And once we started talking, we had similar people that we started reading books like from, and we literally hit it off because he's a huge entrepreneur. I'm a huge entrepreneur. And he's actually got his own podcast. He's got his own business page on Facebook called Elevated to Wealth. So go and check that out. I'm sure we'll talk about it more when he gets on here. But I am just super pumped. I'm super excited because he is amazing. And he's going to have some amazing tips and tricks for you guys. The goal of this podcast is to revive our lives together, right? And we're going through it together. And so he's going to share some insight on how he's able to do that, how he's able to elevate his life. And then hopefully you guys can take something away so that your life can be elevated as well. But real quick, we're going to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Have you wanted to make a podcast but didn't know how to get started? That was me until I found Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more platforms. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. That is ANCHOR.FM to get started now. So many people want to start a business but don't know how. Our mission is to help you discover and live your passion by architecting a profitable business that delivers incredible value to the market and profits to you. Step one is to discover. You're going to work with a coach one-on-one to discover what has held you back until now. You're going to set new goals and explore suitable opportunities to design and finance the lifestyle you want. There's going to be 3 different avenues you can go down. The first one is direct sales and affiliate marketing, where you can get paid $30 to $3,000 per sale in commissions. The second avenue is lead generation for businesses, where you can learn how to start your own agency and deliver targeted leads to hungry businesses. You will get paid $2,500 to $5,000 per month per paying client. And the third thing is to earn 100% passive income. And you can do this by investing into a done-for-you, hands-off e-commerce store managed by us. Step 2 is commit. With the help of your coach, you can choose the path that is most aligned with what you want to do. Step 3 is train. In addition to step-by-step training inside the custom ACE marketing sales system, you'll get personal mentorship from your sponsor and team leader, Facebook mastermind support groups, multiple live weekly calls, and live events all over the world. Step 4 is to succeed. Phase 1 is to earn revenue. Build a digital business that supplements your current income and gives you breathing room. Phase 2 is growing wealth. Create multiple streams of revenue. Transition to a full-time entrepreneur with security. And phase 3 is investment on investment. Bills paid, debt-free, and your money is making more money while you enjoy time freedom. If this interests you, go to therevivalcouple.com to get started now. You'll need to put in your name and email address to get access to your free web class now. That is therevivalcouple.com to get started now. All right, and so we are back, and I got my good friend Andre Sullivan here. Let's give him a nice big welcome. Okay. And then, we got you. We're here. We've arrived. So if you don't mind, Andre, if you don't mind sharing with, the folks to keep them engaged, something that most people don't know about you.
Got you. What probably most people don't know, I really love to cook. I like, and I take it like super serious. Like I pay like, when I go to the store, like I'm in there, like I do my own seasonings, you know what I'm saying? I'm that guy, you know what I'm saying? And in particular, I really love, Korean and Asian cuisine. Ooh. So that's like my favorite thing to cook. So beef bulgogi, short ribs. That's like my wheelhouse right there.
Man, that's some good stuff. Dang. What did you have tonight then, if you don't mind me asking? Some good.
It's funny because you say that, and it's like, and then when I tell you what I had for dinner, it's so underwhelming. Like I feel like you knew what I had, but it was like chili cheese dogs and some pulled pork sandwiches. So
hey, that's still kinda fire though, that's like
it's still food fire. We kept it simple tonight.
That's like when you get home, you need to cook something up real quick. Yeah,
exactly.
Cool. So for the listeners, I was just gonna ask you some questions, but before that, if you don't mind just going into a little background about yourself. I know when I got started online and stuff, there was a lot of mindset stuff, even from a young age, of how, I was more of an entrepreneur than, as an employee. And, both people have their roles. But if you don't mind just giving some context, you can start back as far as you want, and then just, talk about your life and then growing up until, this point where you decided to go into entrepreneurship and kind of strive for more in your life. You know what I mean? Yeah, for sure, man. Well, I appreciate you, for having me on first off. And I love what you do, man. It's like, I'm on your stuff, bro. Like heavy, like I'm a legit fan. So I definitely appreciate, what you do. But thanks, man.
For me, man. So for me, I was, my dad was in the Air Force, so I moved around a lot. I was born in Las Vegas, Nevada. So that fact that nobody really knows, people are like, what? Because they don't really know too many people that's born from there. But my dad was there. He was stationed there, and that's how you met my mom. And they got married. Of course, they left. They were living in England at the time. They were overseas. Wow. And then when they came back to visit is when I was born. So all my grandmother, all of my cousins, everybody on my mom's side, because that's where she's from, I was born there. And then we kind of just moved around, and we ended up in Florida. So my dad was stationed in Cocoa Beach, Florida. We lived in Melbourne, Florida. We lived on Patrick Air Force Base. And then we got to Tampa, Florida, and my dad retired. Now, the funny thing about that is before moving to Florida, we used to live in Sumter, South Carolina, and we loved it there. Like South Carolina we loved it. So the initial plan was when he retired, we was going to move back to Sumter, South Carolina. And then after being in Tampa and getting like a piece of that city life, we were like, yeah, nah, I'm not going back. Like we would go back and visit, and we was like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
So
dang, that's awesome.
So I've been in Tampa since 1998. and been here ever since, and kind of just watch my parents do the grind. My dad was in the Air Force, so but I even through that I watched him have to go, and he used to deliver the papers. Like, nobody uses them anymore, but the little paper machines you put the quarters in. He used to, like, 3:00 in the morning is where I saw a lot of where my work ethic came from, because I would watch my dad get up at 1:00 in the morning. Being in the Air Force, you got to be at work early, or in the military rather. And so I watched my dad go from like 2 o'clock in the morning to deliver papers and put them in the machines, and then he would go to his regular day job. And my mom is a entrepreneur. She's a hairstylist, so she's been a hairstylist for, since we've moved to Tampa, about almost 20 years.
Dang.
And so I watched them, and we didn't struggle. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would say if we did, they did a very good job hiding it. You know what I'm saying? So,
exactly.
Watch, and probably not, I think about it, my dad having to be getting another job and stuff like that. They probably were, they just did a very good job at, keeping things afloat.
Exactly. Yeah. I've, experienced that with my parents. Like, there was always a roof over my head. Bills were always paid. There might've been like more debt, I would say, that was acquired than I even realized until now, know, and I was like, dang, like they were scraping by, but I understand like parents are good at that, man. And with the little one on the way, you're going to be
yeah, man.
You're going to be like, we good.
It's crazy. Yeah, no, it's crazy because even when we lived in Cocoa Beach, I went to an elementary school, like a public school, and then because when I was born, or the year I was born, I was always the youngest kid in the class, so I struggled a little bit. So with that, it was like, okay, they had to pull me out and put me in a private school. And I had no idea, Tobias, that my mom cleaned the private school, the Christian school I was at, to help take care of me being there.
Wow.
That until I was in my adulthood, you know what I'm saying? So it's like to watch my family, do what was necessary. Might not had everything I wanted, but and had a great had a great decent childhood.
Yeah, definitely. I understand that. So like when you were in your, I guess, high school years or anything, or when you first started working, did you notice like you kind of saw things in like a different way? And if so, I guess what were those things that you saw? Like, was it you started working, you're like, man, screw this, I'm tired of this crap, or was it like after a while you're like, man, I need to find something else,
Bro, you know what the funny part is, and y'all are probably going to get a real kick at this. And before working, I thought like $5, $2, $3, $100. I thought I was good. Like, I thought you're good. Like, so my idea of like, I'm going to work my first job, and then I'm gonna make my first paycheck of like $200-$300, and then I'm gonna quit because I got everything I need.
Yeah.
And very quickly working, I was like, yeah, that's not how that works.
So you're gonna grab a couple $100. You're gonna be like, all right, deuces, throw up the deuces. You're like, all right, man, I'm good. I'm taken care of.
I'm straight. I'm good.
I'm gonna go live on the beach, I'm gonna kick it,
dude,
buy my yacht.
Oh yeah, man, I'm about to do it all out here, man. I'm about to travel the world on these $400, man.
Like, hey, I don't even need to go to college. I just grab $400, work a little bit, and I'd be
exactly. Cool. Exactly.
Dang, that's crazy. That's awesome though. I like
I was real naive. I was real naive.
I like the optimism, that's cool. Childlike faith.
Yeah, no, for sure. And so getting into that, and you know what? And it's cool too, because when I did start to work, in high school, of course, after the dream of not being able to live off of $200 for the rest of my life, when I realized that that for a lot of people that I was going to school with, you know, and being in high school, you know, you always wanted the new shoes, you wanted the new, you know, Jordans, whatever trend of clothing that was in, or the PlayStations, whatever those things were during that, you know, given time.
Yeah.
I understood at an early age that, like, my parents, like, watching people in high school be able to have those things and like play football, you know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to play football too.
Cutting out a little bit. Sorry.
Oh, cutting. How about now?
Oh, you're good. You're good. I just want to give you a heads up because hey, it sounds like a powerful story, you know?
Yeah. So watching, you know, people that things I wanted, I'm like, how are you able to do that? And not work. And I understood that, you know, they had family do that. And unfortunately, like, my parents, they gave me whatever they could, but the extra stuff, I knew if I wanted those things, I had to work for those things.
Exactly. Yeah. I completely agree. You know, what's funny is, when I would go to high school, I don't know, they had some weird program where it was like during lunchtime, you could sign up to work at the cafeteria, right? And so I would do that. I'd get my lunch paid for. I'd be getting whatever I wanted to eat. And then they would pay me a paycheck on top of it. And I was like, what? That really? Is insane. Yeah, they would actually pay me. And so, like, sometimes I was not about school at times. And I was like, man, screw this. Like, so I would show up. I'd go to weight training before lunch. I'd go to lunch. And then I'd go to jazz band. And then I'd just head out.
Straight like that.
I was like, I'm trying to get my money. I'm trying to get my workout in. And I'm trying to play some music. And then after that, I was like, all right, I'm good. And then I would just hop on so we had public transportation. So I just hop on the public transportation bus. We had off-campus lunch. And I would just head back home. Snap. I would always get that call. I would always get that call. My parents,
they trusted y'all way more than they trusted us in high school, boy.
Yeah, I don't know how or why, but man, I was just like deuces, you know. It was kind of crazy. But yeah, you know, so I understand only like in certain things. Yeah, for sure. It's like, you know, so going through that, I did, you know, the working thing. And then I think for me is where I realized. Dang, you're cutting out just a little bit. I don't know if you got that. Yeah, you good now.
All right, we good.
Yeah, you good. Sorry.
But I just, you know, I learned quickly that being that I was out buying the things that I wanted because I had a job, right? My mom took care, you know, my parents split, but you know, parents were still in my life, and my mom would give me lunch money. You know, she would do everything. So I mean, I worked, I had a paycheck, and really didn't have to do anything, you know, but just to kind of go to school. And I think for me, that's kind of where my journey started, is because I developed some horrible spending habits, you know, and that's kind of where that I can literally trace back to, you know, where my struggle started and where my mind was at that time, because I just spent money.
Okay. So you got to the point where you're like, man, I want more stuff, but like, I don't got the income to be able to get that stuff. So how can I make that work, you know, where I can have more stuff? And so that's kind of like jump started your entrepreneur career, I guess, and like trying to create more stuff so that you could eventually have more things, in a sense, right?
Well, you know what? It almost was the total opposite. Is really? Because I didn't have the proper mindset. I developing poor spending habits just led me down a place. Hold on. Let me you exit this out real quick. All right. I'm gonna try that screen. Okay, cool. But what it did was I started spending money, and then started spending money that I didn't have. So, you know, and I thought, you know, the only way for me to make money was a job, because I had plenty of people, you know, try to give me the game on entrepreneurship at a young age. And I just thought, if I had to go pay something to go make money, then that's just not, that's not right. So I turned it down. But even though it didn't push me to entrepreneurship, it kind of pushed me because it forced me to if I was going to stop the bleeding on one side, I was going to have to do more than work,
Exactly. Yeah, that makes total sense to me. Dang, that's cool. So like at what point were you faced with your first entrepreneurial issues that you had to overcome? You realized that like entrepreneurship was the way you needed to go, and you can kind of explain that a little bit more. But then talk about like your first kind of hiccup in the entrepreneurial world.
Okay. So I would say my first hiccup, once I realized that, okay, I need to be doing this. My first hiccup was my mindset, because I quit a lot of things like growing up. Like if it got too hard, I was quitting and didn't think nothing of it. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately it came to bite me in the butt later on in my entrepreneur, journey, is because now you're faced with this, like you're going to take this serious now, but things are not working how I thought they were going to be working. So it's like, I just would quit and then start something else, and then kind of quit and start something else.
Okay.
But when I finally was like, yo, this is like, there's no other way. But this marketing was a huge thing for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm the same way. When I first got started, I was like, it's weird because it's like we put these stipulations on how much time it can take. We're like, all right, so I'll give myself maybe 3 to 6 months.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
If I don't see that, if I don't see the results from it, then clearly it doesn't work, right? And
because it gives you a crutch, right? Because you can say that I tried it, but if you really step back and look, it's like, did you really do everything you were supposed to do in that 3 to 6 months time that you gave? But it gives you a way out to kind of punk out on it, on yourself.
Exactly. And for me, like I've been talking about it kind of a lot lately, but it's kind of like that lottery ticket mentality, right? It's like you're going in, you're doing one thing, and you're just like, all right, I'm gonna sit back,
right,
and I'm gonna wait for that one thing that I did to start paying me as if I'm playing the lottery. And so it's like, man, am I actually doing what it takes to get the results that I'm like looking for, that I'm trying to, accomplish? Or am I just like purchasing my lottery ticket, throwing it on the fridge with that magnet, and then being like, all right, I'm waiting for it to hit. I'm waiting for the work to come in and me to get my paycheck, so that I can cash out. I can start living on the beaches. I can start buying all my dream homes and dream cars. And so that's what I've been, talking about a lot lately, because I was in that for like quite some time. And then I realized, I was like, man, I just need to do more work. Like if I showed you this whiteboard behind me, I've got like a list of how I could contact 400 companies, get them signed on to get more leads and stuff. And I like right now is like the only time where I'm actually, what do I need to do every day to be able to get the results I'm striving for? If 1% buys, will that set me up for success? Or, and then now it's just doing the work, which is the hardest part.
Yeah, for sure.
Dang.
For sure.
Yeah, 100%. So you experience those conflicts, you experience those things that were kind of a crutch as, quitting things and thinking, 3, maybe 6 months, maybe a year, whatever, however much time or however much effort you thought was the amount of effort you needed to put in to get the results you were looking for. Right. So that was kind of the thing that held you back. But moving forward from there, what are some things like kind of explain what you do and, you know, your business, you know, definitely put it out there. Let the folks know where to go to get connected with your stuff, with your content, with your podcast, all that, you know, but
sure.
definitely talk about some things that you've been able to achieve from being an entrepreneur. So for me, like a big thing was, I was living in a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment, and I didn't make a bunch of money. Honestly, I made $0 online. But as I was getting training, as I was getting, like my mentality was starting to shift just a little. My eyes opened up and I was like, what am I doing? I need to buy a house. I need to start looking at my, you know, like at my life as not just paying rent every month. I need to go into something where at the end of the day, it's going to pay me back. Now, I had the luxury of being in the military where they paid for it. So, but I would have never done that. I would have just been like, it's easier to pay rent. You know?
Yeah, so, for sure.
So what are some like achievements that you've gotten from going into the entrepreneur space and into what you've created, you know, elevated to wealth and all that?
Yeah, appreciate it. So once I locked down that, okay, I'm not going anywhere. Like this is the route. Like once I realized that entrepreneurship and creating something that can be passed on to my kids and something that I can share and teach other people how to do, like it was the blinders were on, and I just had one thing in mind. So once I got serious and I started being more consistent, I was reaching out. I was talking to people, and I was doing it in a way what was comfortable for me. And for anybody listening, you find what you can do that's comfortable for you, but at the same time, you must be consistent. And if that's what you're going to do, you must do it, because a lot of times we'll do things that are not comfortable, and we'll find something comfortable because it's easy, and then we still won't do the work, and then we expect something. So once I started to really understand like the online marketing space, as far as putting out content and things are going viral, and a lot more people were reaching out to me, and what I did, I started to say like, wow, this thing is like really working. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, we're always that person looking at the other people succeed, and we're like, man, I thought I was doing the thing. I thought I was doing it. And it took consistent work of literally from January to about the year before I got married. From January to December, I was just putting out content, and then something just went viral. Wow. And then like I was getting, close to 200 to 300 leads a day. Like they were just, were just flooding in. And it's funny, till this day, it's a post that pops up on people's timelines on Facebook, like as a reoccurring, and it'll share, and I'll still get leads from something that I did back in 2014. Dang. You know what I'm saying? That's so crazy. I remember, when that hit, I was still struggling, and me and my wife, we were about to get married, and I realized, okay, I'm getting all these leads in, and all the money that we make from our jobs is already accounted for. So if like this wedding is going to happen, it's going to have to happen. Yeah. So literally I would get these leads in, and I would transfer them from the computer to a sheet, to a composition notebook. Yep. And I was writing them out. And then from the time I got home from work, I would spend an hour with my family. And then from about 7 to 11 o'clock, I was on the phones. Dang. I was on the phones, and I did that every single day. And if it wasn't for that income coming in, like, we'd be getting married outside, like as some random person's house, so exactly. To watch that happen, to see that success was like, oh yeah, now it's really time to take it up a notch. Man. Like it's really time to go.
Dang, that's so cool. Yeah, that was like when I got my first purchase for something online, I was like, it works.
Yeah.
I was like, it works. It really works. But dang, going viral and then getting 300, that's crazy.
Dude, it was crazy. It was to the point where I was using a free form, because I created the form on Woofu.
Okay,
right?
Yeah.
And I probably would have had more, but I was using the free version. And when it went viral, like you only got a certain amount of leads a month.
Yeah.
So I know I probably missed out on at least another 300 more, because it had maxed out for that month. And then after that, I upgraded, so, just watching something like you said, I think it is important, especially people that are on this journey, man. All it needs to do is work one time. That's all it takes. It works one time for you to see it, that you did the work. Damn. Man. It's game over from there.
Exactly. And hey, that's why I'm telling a lot of people that I'm talking to lately. I'm like, bro, you need to get on TikTok. And I'm not saying it as like, go out there, do the dances,
Yeah, right.
I'm not saying that. Like me, I don't do that. I just create some different things, and I'm not even on TikTok enough. But you could go on there and you could get 100,000 people that are following you like that. And it's gone down a lot than what it was. But like, if one of your things goes viral, it could just be something funny. You could have 1 million followers, and then boom, now you have so much more traction to use, right? You could be like, hey, come follow me on this through that page. Come follow me on that. And it's insane how much it can blow up. And I think we don't realize how quick things can scale, because
and that was one of the hiccups too, if we, to go back to what you were talking about, is a lot of people think when especially if they're doing business online, is that everything has to be about the business. Yeah. And that's what helped me, is because I would post things that I liked, and I would put that out there, and not everything has to be a call to action. Some things you just putting out there just to put out there, so people have something to say, hey, this person's a regular guy, and he's not just somebody trying to just to try to get my business.
Exactly.
These are real connections that are happening.
Dang, that's awesome. And so going from like, when you first started online into, I guess, where you're at now, I guess, what is the biggest thing that has transformed? Like when you think about, at least for myself, when I got started, it was very, very selfish. I was like, bro, I just want to live in a mansion and get a BMW i8. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to like, not that I'm trying to flex, but I'm trying to show people that I got it, and to prove to them that like, hey man, I'm the stuff, but it's transitioned from that into like, man, from just I'm not saying I've even made that much online, but just from the very little that at least in my eyes, I think it's very little, but the very little that I made, right. And the very little of clients that I've talked to, I know that, there's been a lasting impact on majority of their lives. And so now it's like, I want to help out 100 families. I want to go out there and see their lives change, because when they realize that now they don't have to just like put their head down, feel sad about life, feel like, bro, this sucks. Like, is this all that life is supposed to be? No, now when they get out of that, like just survival mentality, they're like, bro, I could do so much. And I love living each and every day. Instead of coming home and having to slam down 3 or 4 beers because they hate life, they're like, bro, sky's the limit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I guess from you, when you got started until now, what is a big like transformation, a big thing that has shifted from then till now?
Man, that's a great question. I think the biggest thing that shifted for me is when I found my, kind of like what you were saying, it's like when I really found like my purpose in it, and really why I was doing it. Because once that changes for you, you start looking at things different. Like I realized the people that I want to connect to are the people that were like me, that maybe quit a lot of times or thought that, man, this can't be for me, this won't work, because that was my mindset even through like having the big success that I did, and almost regressing a little bit, and a lot of people don't talk about that part of their journey, is when the success is there, sometimes we regress and get back to that old mindset. Exactly, and it happens to the best of us, and once you found, and I think the biggest thing that I learned is that I can come back, and that's kind of almost after that success is how Elevated to Wealth became. Now, in addition, Elevated Transport, has came into play, is because I went a very long time just very stagnated after that success, and was like, crap, like, I need to do something. Like, I feel like I'm not doing anything. Like, I feel like that moment was like, I'm trying to hold on to that moment and get that moment back, not realizing that I can reinvent myself and I can have a real purpose, it's not only about, like you said, flexing. Cause I think that's what me and you connect a lot, is because, we, the same thing is like, I don't want to stunt, but I want to stunt, you know what I'm saying? It's like, exactly. But when you find that balance, that I also really, really want to help people, and I really want to change people's mindset. And I want to be able to help people that are like, what you're saying is great. What can I do right now? What can I do tomorrow? And those are the people that I want to, connect with. And that has been the biggest change that I would say, that went from just being online to now being a business.
Exactly, man. That's fire right there. That is so good. And man, if you don't mind just sharing where they can find you, where they can get plugged into, your vision and where you're going, because like right now, I think it's just a beginning for both of us. Like, man, bro, hey,
this is cool, man, because like now you're seeing people, these are in the beginning stages of, because I have a podcast as well. So you can find my podcast on SoundCloud, Elevated to Wealth Podcast. And I've had the awesome pleasure of being able to have you on as a guest, I believe on episode 6. So make sure y'all check that out, because that was a fun time. And you were my first guest. So
you're my first guest. So this is episode 9. Episode 9. You are. I was like, I had to return the favor, man.
It's full circle. So to watch, I think these kind of things are very important, because people are able to see the beginning stages of them, and they don't get so overwhelmed. Why, man, I have to have everything right now, and it'll keep you from doing what you should be doing, because you're trying to get every single duck in a row, and that's just not the case. So so you can find me on SoundCloud at Elevated to Wealth Podcast, on Facebook at Elevated to Wealth. And then Elevated Transport just now is kicking off. So we're in doing transporting, doing long hauls and delivery service.
Man, that's awesome.
For furniture or anything you need moved. We move it and take care of it. And then on the financial side is Elevated to Wealth, where we help people with credit, fund strategies that help them get access to money, not only just random money, but their own money. So we show them how to find the money in their own paycheck. So we have fund strategies where we can show you how to increase your own paycheck and open up a business and put you on the right path. That if you don't, whether you want to have $1 million a month coming in, or if your goal is just to, pay off your student loan or just have a couple extra $100 a month, we have strategies for on both sides of that spectrum. And wealth doesn't have to mean a crazy amount. For whatever your wealth is, that's what we want to help achieve. So it don't have to be the 10-car garage. But if it is, we can help you do that too.
Man, that's awesome. And thank you so much for joining us. Of course, I'm going to, like, if you look down below, there will be all the links in the description of the podcast. I'll have all the links on the video as well. I'll get those from you and get that all squared away.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
But definitely I'm going to put that up. Check out his stuff because, man, we are growing. Like that's the whole purpose of the Revival Couple is we want to see us revive our lives, but we want to see everyone else revive their lives as well. And I think what you are doing, Andre, is helping out a lot of families and it's helping out a lot of people.
I appreciate you. So, dude, you for real. Like and it's not just like watching it, even just being on and listening to you, man. It's like, I want to go out and crank like 3 more episodes on the podcast, just watching. Man. And, when you get people around you that are doing that, it just brings something out of you. It's like, man, I got to be doing something. And I appreciate you for that.
I appreciate you because without being on that podcast, I always wanted to. And then there was all these things. It was like, oh, well, I don't have this. Well, I don't have that. I don't have a graphic. I don't have an intro song. And I just grabbed everything, put it together and kind of threw it out there. And then with your help, hey, you helped me get the graphic that looked the best. So I appreciate you. Appreciate it, man. And big things are coming to both of us. I can't wait until we can collab on some more stuff, man. It's going to be crazy. Got some things cooking. For reals. Well, thank you again. And with this, I just want to give you a big thank you. Give him a round of applause. And I
appreciate you, brother. Hey.
All right. And with that, we're going to end this with the outro soundtrack. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much. If you like this episode, definitely drop a like down below. If you think someone else will find value from it, share it because it makes me smile like I am right now. As always, let's go out there. Let's revive our lives together. Let's get it done. And until the next podcast episode, have a good one.